When was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. I am your host, Colleen Biggs, and I am so excited that we have the opportunity to kind of shift gears a little bit today and talk more about some emerging technologies. We've seen a lot of Google layoffs lately. I would love to dive into diversity in tech. And Kamales Lardi is coming to us today, all the way from Switzerland, to talk more about these areas when it comes to startups, the different range of technologies that are available to us. We're going to dive into that today and have an amazing conversation. But before we do, I want to make sure we thank our sponsor of today's show, Beyond Basil Mobile Pizzeria. Imagine if your wedding and private event was created by a luxurious trailer equipped with wholesome ingredients and lots of TLC and a pizza oven imported from Italy. Our goal at Beyond Basil Pizza is to make the best pizza you've ever had. And we know how to do this too. Your best pizza experience is our highest priority. Be sure to contact us and follow us on Instagram at Beyond Basil Pizza or online at beyondbasilpizzeria.com. It's easy to plan your next event, corporate event, and private wedding with us. We've got you covered. So thank you, Beyond Basil, for sponsoring today's show. Now let's get back to Kamales. She is a bold and strategic thinker in digital and business transformation. She combines over 23 years of deep cross-industry experience with the latest digital and technology solutions. Kamales is listed in the top 10 global influencers and thought leaders in digital transformation through Thinkers 360 and the top 50 women in tech influencers in 2021 with the Awards magazine. She often says technology is not a silver bullet solution. A clear value proposition should drive any transformational effort. This approach resonates well with many business leaders and has helped her stand out in the digital space. Since establishing Lardi Partner Consulting in 2012, Kamales has advised many multinational companies across various industries in Europe, Asia, and Africa for over a decade. Kamales, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Colleen. It's nice to be here.
It's wonderful to have you here. So you and I both know there are a lot of emerging technologies that are coming out. AI is really hitting heavy on the platforms. And many entrepreneurs out there really aren't sure, like, what does that future look like? Does this AI replace jobs? Does it replace me? You coming from corporate America in your past, now owning your own business for 10 years, what have you seen with the patterns in technology, and what can we see expected, do you believe, from now and into the future of what really is emerging for technologies?
Well, Colleen, I like to think of myself as a business strategist and a technology optimist. I know there's a lot going on in the news, and we tend to see this almost on a daily basis about the impact of AI taking away jobs and things like that. I'm a huge enthusiast of technology. I think technology has, over the last 2 decades, accelerated what is possible for us as humans as well, right? The way we connect with one another, the way we engage, the depth of engagement we can create online with each other. If you talk about social media, for example. And so I think there's so much potential. And looking at technologies just from one small aspect or one small spectrum is probably, limiting. So the way I look at it is really, the range of different technologies. Almost on a daily basis, we're seeing breakthrough technology solutions come out. And businesses today, whether you're a small startup or a one-person entrepreneur or even a large corporation, if you're not using technology in the right way, you're not going to survive and thrive in the digital economy in the next 5 to 10 years, right? This is really a do or die type of situation. And so what I try to do is really explore the different types of technologies. There's a range of different information out there. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to set up a business, with AI-based solutions, there are a myriad of solutions out there, right? So there's a AI-based platform that allows you to create a website for your company in 30 seconds. Right.
Are you serious? That is crazy.
Amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And it's even relevant, right? So the context and the content and the value of what's being created, it requires so little modification and changes, for example. So I'm not going to name names here if listeners would like to connect with me, because I'm not promoting any of these sites. Right. I've just used them on my own basis, and basically I like to explore and learn and see what's out there and, test them out myself. So I'm happy to share if any of the listeners would like to connect with me later on. I can provide some recommendations. But this is amazing, right? And there's another platform that allows you to pick your team. Let's say you're a solo entrepreneur and you can't afford to hire a team of people. You can pick a team of accountants, legal advisors, social media advisors, SEO advisors on this platform, and they're all AI based. They're not real people. So you can build a team and you can set them up and basically ask them any question you want. And very much like ChatGPT and all of these other AI tools, they give you recommendations on what you should be doing, how you should be growing your business. And I find these things exciting because the technology today allows you to accelerate. And, let's keep in mind, even if you're not a $1 million business, on day one of starting your business, you have access to a global marketplace today, right? With your website, with social media, you can access a global marketplace. So the potential and the opportunities are out there. The question is, and as you said in my quote earlier, how do you use the technology? There's got to be a value proposition. There's got to be a clear purpose and reason, and how you're adding value to your target audience. And this is how I would see utilizing technologies for business.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that it's very, very, to me, it's so interesting, and it just blows my mind what type of tech is available to us today. And I don't think many entrepreneurs are really even scratching the surface on what is available to them. And they're using traditional services, which would be to connect with an individual who has a business where they build websites for them. And so they're building their website personally, taking their images, their content, and building that out. And now, as you were saying, we have this AI tech out there available that can build it, within a day, that can, you can build your board of advisors around you, as you talked about. And I think this is something that we need to be looking at as embracing and utilizing it more to speed up the growth and acceleration of our businesses, to move us in the right direction. So do you want to talk more to how that is motivating for startups? Like you talked about, there's so many individuals lately with Google layoffs. There's been Facebook. I mean, there's been a lot of layoffs lately, but especially in Simi Valley and in the tech corridor, there's been a lot of layoffs as well. And you have these techs that are so educated, and they're going out now and starting businesses because the world's completely changed. Once COVID hit and we were locked down, no one's really searching, like you said, for the day-to-day. I want to drive into the office, work all day, and drive home at the end of the day. There's so many options now for us to create and drive income for ourselves. And I see a lot of this moving into the tech industry.
Absolutely. I've seen a huge trend towards the gig economy, particularly in the tech industry. And I think the companies that are, laying off people at the moment, they're underestimating what's going to happen in the next couple of years, because there's a brain drain in the tech industry where these people who are leaving, they have the option to set up, and they have the skill sets as well, to set up their own shop and to create a revenue source that doesn't depend on larger organizations. And all of this is very possible. And, if we think about kind of the knowledge and skill sets today that are required around technology, knowledge is democratized. right? You're a Google search away from building the right skill sets that you need in order to set up your business and to utilize the right technologies to accelerate your growth. So this is going to be something I think very transformative, and I'm very excited about it because I think this is what is needed. We need to have, we see this, or we did see this over the kind of coronavirus time, where crowdsourcing knowledge, right? Democratization of knowledge, crowdsourcing knowledge, bringing individuals together to create something bigger and better. And this allowed us to accelerate, for example, the development of medical technologies and medical solutions. And I think this is really going to happen in the entire business landscape. We're going to see individuals working together, collaborating, finding ways to develop solutions, develop outcomes for their customer base. And this is one of the things that I mentioned in my book. This is the kind of backbone of digital transformation. It's building an ecosystem. Any organization that wants to survive and thrive in the digital future has to look at how they can put together an ecosystem of players, ecosystem of kind of stakeholders or people working together to create mutual benefit across the digital economy. And this could be, working closer with your customer base, engaging with digital providers, working closely with your employees as well, and working closely with knowledgeable people or tech leaders across the board, really trying to identify. And, it's so easy today to connect with people who have the right skill sets. Go out on Twitter, go out on Facebook or any of these channels and just connecting with people and looking for these collaborations. You can actually build an ecosystem around your business that could help you accelerate growth. And I find technology allows us to do a lot of these things to accelerate the way we do these things. And so my advice for a lot of the entrepreneurs is really try to stay connected to what's developing out there in terms of technology trends and try to see what kind of elements, because a lot of these platforms are also very affordable, right? They are, very low cost and accessible to most entrepreneurs. And so this is one of the things I would say, try to explore what's out there. And there are platforms that allow you to kind of aggregate information, learn very quickly what you need. There's even a platform. So if I can share a quick story, I learned to code in the mid to late 90s. Right. And way back then, technology and coding was not very user-friendly as we have it today. Right. It was really hardcore to kind of learn how to code. Today, you have a platform that allows you to type in text instructions that turns it into code. So it's accelerated this whole learning and the kind of the painful process, and it's allowed people to gain more access to these technology skills with this kind of ease of use and simplicity. And so I find this really exciting, right? What we have at our fingertips today, it's quite encouraging as well.
It is. It really is. And I wanted to go back and mention your book, The Human Side Digital Business Transformation, is available on Amazon. We have the link available to anyone listening to this today, so they can just scroll down, click on the link and go find your book and grab that for themselves. I think that would be a good read. Let me ask you a question. When we talk a lot about technology, one of the fears I hear in the communities that I'm in is losing that. You talked a lot about human connection. So you were talking a lot just a minute ago, you dove in deeper into the elements of the individuals that you're surrounding yourself with and how important it is to surround yourself with that ecosystem. I call it social capital, and the capital of who is in your social circle that you are relying on, that you are listening to, that you're motivated by, that you're leading, whoever that may be in that circle is very important. When we're talking about human connection and building those relationships versus technology, are you finding that there's a gap that's getting larger now because instead of picking up the phone, I'm just going to go way back to the archaic times when you would have a phone at your house and you actually would pick up your phone to call someone to have a conversation. Now we pick up our phones and instead of using them as phones, we're utilizing them as technology to send a text message or maybe a Facebook message or a like or a tweet or something, an email. So my question to you is, do you see this gap causing any issues with the human connection, and us losing that vibe with each other of what the basic human needs are of having those relationships?
I think this is, if I'm very frank, I think this exists in the market. We do see people using technology to kind of replace those human interactions. But I believe the technology does not replace those human interactions. It augments and enables. And this is how we should be utilizing it, right? Because you can never replace that human connection. The human connection is the differentiator. If you are running your own business, or if you're starting your own business, that connection you create with your customer base, that emotional connection, is what's going to last. That's what's going to create the sense of loyalty. That's what's going to create that long-term and repeat buy from your customers, whatever business you're in. And this cannot be replaced, right? But what technology can do is create this hyper-personalized experience for customers at scale, across channels, at low cost. And that's the best way to utilize technology. Now, if you think about the metaverse that was, a huge hype last year, if you think about, the different technologies that have always been, through this hype cycle, you hear about it. All of these technologies can enable us to create those hyper-personalized experiences if they're used well. And if companies are able to identify, what's the best way to connect with my target audience? What's the best way to build this kind of emotional connection with them? Mm-hmm. Can I accelerate this emotional connection across channels with the technology solutions that I have? Virtual reality and augmented reality are great for this because it allows us to have this immersive experience where you feel like you're, inside of this, you could create an environment where people feel as if they're inside a store, for example. Mm-hmm. There's a very good example of luxury watch brands and, some of these luxury brands where they allow you to utilize your mobile phone as a augmented reality tool. So you can try things on yourself, virtual try-ons. Right. And this creates that emotional connection. What better way to create an emotional connection to a product than putting it on yourself and seeing how that looks, right? Yeah. So technology really allows us to do that. I would never engage with an organization that tries to replace the technology, the human connection with tech. And we see this as well with platforms, AI-based platforms like ChatGPT, where the thing that's going viral about it is this the natural language ability of the platform. It's able to talk and interact with us like another human. Mm-hmm. And that's what's really, really exciting about technology. So I think this connection, this emotional connection, these emotional engagements with one another is what's kind of the value proposition of any organization. And they should be using technology to augment and enable that.
Yeah. Think about the interview that we're having today. In the past, we might not have been able to have this interaction with you being in Switzerland, it being very late in the evening, it being early in the morning for me, and having, this recording where I can see you, you can see me, we can have a better interaction because we physically can see each other versus maybe having it over the phone, or you called into a station and we were only able to hear you. And we really don't know what your surroundings look like or what you look like, or if you're smiling or what your facial expressions are. And, that is even this is going to be a world that I can't talk about because I don't know anything about it, but even started way back when my children were younger, which they're grown and married and have babies now. But when my children were younger, when they would play video games, and video games have become very immersive with facial expressions and movement and feelings and you name it, it is all within those games. And I see it happening all of the time. So I think you hit the nail on the head for sure, Kamales, when you talked about if technology is utilized to advance the relationships, to create a more immersive, a deeper connection with your customers and with others, which we do here in the Leap community when we have everyone gather and we have meetings, we have events, and everyone's coming from all over the world and coming into the same space to be able to do that. If we're utilizing it for that. Go ahead.
If I could just share a quick example, I
Yes.
saw this kind of a real-time example of this. So when COVID hit in 2020, there were quite a lot of business leaders who went into a state of panic. And I do something called digital mindset coaching, which is supporting leadership teams and board members in terms of how do you lead organizations of the future. So how do you lead organizations that have now adopted so many new technologies? How do you lead teams of people who are experts in technology, right? You're talking about the next generation of people who grew up with technology, and they are literally the experts as they come into the workforce. And so one of the leaders that I was working with has been in an organization as a C-level executive for over 30 years. And he has never led an organization that did not have physical touch points or contact with his team. And so COVID hit, all of the team members were not physically available, and everything was done through Zoom and phone calls. He went into kind of a state of panic. And so what I did with him was we entered into a metaverse space. He got himself one of those not so expensive glasses. It was like $200 or something. We went into this space, and it was such a wow moment for him, because within 30 minutes, he had forgotten that we were not in the same room together. We were not physically together. We were having a conversation, having a virtual coffee, talking about how he's going to manage some of his business challenges. And after about 30 minutes, it hit him. Oh, I'm in this space with you. We're not physically together. And I'm like, yeah, did you forget? So it's so exciting to see the impact that technology can have on people. You do tend to forget that sometimes that physical interaction is not even necessary, but you have to create that emotional connection, that human side connection.
Yeah. I love that. There are so many benefits to emerging technologies if we have an open mind to embrace them. Just talking about our cell phones and the way that we communicate with information, the way that individuals build businesses, the way that we have access to every product we could ever need and never even have to leave our house. There's so many individuals now today that I know that are like, I don't remember the last time I went to the grocery store. I just have them delivered. And for some people, that creates a lot of efficiency for them, and they're able to spend more time with their family or be there for their children when they couldn't have in the past. That's what I love about virtual work and telecommuting and all of the options that are available to business owners, to those working in corporate America. But, to me, just nothing replaces a smile and a warm hug and time with another person, right?
Absolutely.
I love those.
And I think
those moments.
The word of the day is, what you mentioned is options, right? And particularly if you think about women and women entrepreneurs and women business leaders, the ability to have these options and to kind of create a life for yourself around, or design your own lifestyle and career. Mm-hmm. Technology has created those options for us. It enables us to still stay connected, but still be available for our families, and to kind of support us in, as I said, designing a lifestyle and, something that's more work-life balance. And as women, we do tend to carry a lot more of the weight. It's just a fact. It's not a negative or a positive. It's just how things are. And so technology has allowed us now the option to work from home or work remotely and kind of engage with our family and be more available to them, and still have the satisfaction that we want around building our career and building a financial independence. And so I love this. I think this has created kind of a little bit more of a fair playing ground as well.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I 1,000% agree with you. And I know, Kamales, that so many individuals today are like, wow, she's fantastic. I really want to know more about some of these emerging technologies. She talked about some of these other platforms. I would love to get some advice from her. And I know you're available on LinkedIn under Kamales Lardi, and they can find you there on LinkedIn. They could, I would say, connect with her there, message her directly, through LinkedIn, so she could give you some of those recommendations and some of those individual products that she was speaking about. But where are some other places that they can reach you as well?
So they can look for me on my website, kamaleshlardi.com. And you'll find information about speaking engagements, as well as my book and other interviews that I've been doing. And of course, I'm quite active on Twitter. at Lardi. So I'm a little bit more provocative and outspoken on Twitter, but it's expected. So
I love that. We don't mute anybody here. So I want you to be outspoken, and I want you to speak up and use your voice for what your opinions are. And we encourage that here as well. And I just wanted to share, Kamales was recognized in the International 40 over 40 as the world's most inspiring women. That is fabulous. And she's also in the chair of the Forbes Women Business Council for Women Executives. And just like you talked about, you're available as a speaker. So as a dynamic speaker for several conferences, I'm sure, that have been out there for industry conferences, for corporate, you've been able to speak at those events.
Yeah, I've spoken at over 250 events across the globe. And so I would be very excited to engage with people more on these types of things as well.
Yeah. And I think we need to. The world is continuing to go at a rapid pace. So is technology. And so I think we need to continue having these conversations so everyone understands the range of the technologies that are available to them out there, whether they're in corporate America, whether they're a leader, an executive, or running their own businesses. Honestly, even a mother who is a stay-at-home mother needs to understand more of these technologies because her children are dipping into those as well.
Yes.
So educating ourselves and having an open mind is really the way we should approach this. And because you're the only you that's ever been, you're the only you that will ever be if you're not the one educating yourself, Kamales, right? If we're not educating ourselves on this and we're keeping a closed mind, it's going to pass us by, whether we like it or not. Things are just going to keep moving. I don't know too many people that are using beepers and, have home phones lines and, are still communicating in that way and sending, written cards and letters. And written cards are nice, but, they're communicating through email or text. They're not sending a pigeon, with a note.
And I think technology allows us really to create financial independence for ourselves, which is super important, particularly in the uncertainty that we're seeing today with the global financial systems, right? And as you mentioned, for kids, this is really, really important. My daughter is a super user of technology as well. She's on most of the platforms. She's got her own online business. And what I've noticed is there are dangers online that, we as parents need to really keep an eye on. And so if you're not educated on this, at the very minimum, understand some of these dangers that are available online for your kids.
For your children, especially. Thank you, Kamales, for being here on Take the Leap today. It's been such a pleasure having this conversation with you. And I look forward to the future conversations that we will have. And for all of you, make sure that you are definitely sharing this with anyone that you feel needs to have a little, 20 minutes of school in the technology sector and how it can be of a great benefit for all of us. Starting a business, owning a business into corporate America and on up, or being a stay-at-home mom. So Kamales, thank you again so much for being with us today. And to all of you, thank you so much for downloading and for being loyal to our podcast and listening every week as we release new episodes and have wonderful experts that come and teach in so many different industries and so many different areas for you to take that information and apply it into your life. That's the work you got to do after you listen to the episode. So thank you so much again. And to all of you, until next time, be you and be strong. Bye-bye for now.
We hope you enjoyed our show today, as our guests shared their secrets on designing their life by taking the necessary leaps to expand their influence and attract the right people and clients into their lives. To start these easy steps for yourself, be sure to visit www.colleenbiggs.net/freebies to download the 7 ways to increase your exposure today.